to use video in your classroom. You've heard about the many advantages and the flexibility of this mode of information delivery. As you know, any instructional technology use in the classroom should be firmly based in research on how people actually learn and process information. My name is Isabel, and I'm an instructional design consultant. I work closely with faculty on selecting the best technology to support their educational goals and complement their technical skills. In today's video, I'm going to talk about some of the principles behind effective multimedia design and some of the tips that you can apply in creating videos for your classroom. Video is a multimodal platform that combines audio, images, and text to deliver content. Many theories have been put forward to explain how people learn and process information. One of such theories is the cognitive theory of multimedia processing. This theory is based on three main assumptions. Assumption number one is that we all have two separate channels for information processing, a visual channel and an audio channel. Assumption number two is that we have limited capacity as to how much visual and audio information we can process at one single time. And assumption number three is that learning is an active process of filtering, selecting, organizing, and integrating the information that we are receiving with the information that we already have. So when making instructional videos, we should keep these three assumptions in mind. While spectacular soundtracks and multimedia effects are great for entertainment videos, when designing instructional video, we must be intentional about supporting active learning and reducing the cognitive burden associated with information processing. So what does that actually mean? What are the principles behind creating effective educational videos? And what are some of the practical tips that you can use when designing and developing your instructional videos? Let's talk about that now. Principle number one, keep it short and chunk your information. The ideal length of an instructional video will be long enough to present your main concept and keep the attention of the viewer. I'm suggesting between 5 to 7 minutes. If there is more than one concept that you need to present, I would suggest segmenting it into two separate videos, each one focusing on one specific topic and one specific concept. Tip number two, make sure that your viewers are familiar with basic concepts and terminology that you will be using in your video. Tip number three is to prioritize voice over visual presentation of information. An example of this was two separate videos that were created presenting information about a lightning strike to his students. The video that presented a diagram of a lightning strike and where the voice was used to describe what was happening in the diagram were more effective than when presenting the diagram with captions and then using voice in addition to the captions. So always focus on the voice first and then the visual. Tip number four, focus on the main point and eliminate any unnecessary elements, be they visual or text on the screen, unnecessary animation or sound. Tip number five, if you've already said it, there's no need to spell it out. Use your voice to deliver the message and perhaps one or two key words written on the screen to reinforce the ideas that you're sharing. Do not overload the viewer by repeating what is being said in text on the screen. Tip number six, use your voice, intonation, and auditory cues to deliver your message. Tip number seven, synchronize the action on the screen with your voice. If presenting a table or a diagram, make sure they appear on the screen as you talk about them, and that the action on the screen progresses with the narration. Tip number eight, make it personal. Assume that you're speaking to one audience member. Talk to them instead of a group of people. Tip number nine, consider your audience background. Are you making a video for a first-year biology student or senior mathematics students? Is your audience made up of English as a second language learners? Or perhaps you're delivering a video to students with special needs. How accessible is your video? Think about providing captions or a transcript. Tip number 10. Consider if you need to be on screen during your entire video. Perhaps you can do a cutaway to a diagram or a picture. Or you can do a screencast of writing out an equation. If it's not necessary for you to be on screen, include supporting images for the information that you're conveying. So this video looked at the cognitive theory of multimedia learning, some of the principles behind active learning and information processing. It presented you with some tips that you can use when planning and designing your instructional video.